Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Strategic Marketing for Small Business webinar. This is the last one of our series, so you have a great topic for us today, which is branding. And so happy to be joined by a local branding experts here with us. So we have Jamie Van Pelt with ESP Media. We have Brian Wyatt with Be Easy Graphics. We have Vaughn Wilson here with Mega Ace Media. And we have Michael Cork with McCork Solutions. And so happy to be joined by Christy Souders, who will be helping us with our questions and answers. So feel free, if you have any questions for our experts today, to put in the comments, and we will be happy to show it on the screen and have one of our experts answer them today. So awesome. Without further ado, I would love to get started with Jamie Van Pelt with ESP Media. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to the conversation, and also just a quick what's up to the esteemed panelists. It's great to be amongst such accomplished professionals this afternoon to talk about some things that we can do to help y'all small businesses grow and brand yourself in a way that's effective. So, Kiana, I'm gonna kind of jump in if that's okay, or are we just doing intros?
Hey, that's perfect. That's perfect.
All right. So let me share my screen, and then I'll run through my little presentation, if that's all right with everybody. And just by way of introductions, real quick, again, my name is Jamie Van Pelt. I'm the president of ESP Media here in Tallahassee. We're a full-service marketing communications consulting firm. Been around for almost 15 years now, headquartered in Tallahassee. We specialize in all manner of communications and marketing and branding and media and advertising and so forth. But we're very excited to be a part of this panel today. We appreciate all of OEV's work to help our small businesses grow in our community and beyond. So with that, by way of introduction, gonna quickly share my screen and see if I can switch over to PowerPoint here. So just give me one quick second. All right. Cool. So I assume everybody can see that. So just real quick, creating, cultivating your brand. It's as easy as ACC. First, can somebody give me just an audio yes that you can see that?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So first, authenticity. The first letter A, authenticity. Who are you? What drives you? What are your values? What are your goals? And remember, branding is not just logos and colors. So what I mean by that is when you're trying to build your brand and your business's brand, think first about who you are as an individual, who you are as a business leader, who you are as a team, and not so much about what your logos and your color schemes and your font suites and so forth might be. So authenticity is the best storyteller no matter what you're trying to do. It's easy to tell the story of something that you believe in, something that you value, something that drives you. It's a little bit harder if you're trying to fake it. First C, consistency. What's your MO, your modus operandi? How do you want clients to remember you? And when should you focus on branding yourself? The answer to the third question is all the time. Remember, going back to that the first slide when we talk about it's not just logos and color schemes, your brand is you. And when you are constantly building your brand in every single thing that you do. So remember, you're never off. You and your brand, your business's brand are synonymous with each other. So every time somebody sees you out, sees you at the park with your family, sees you doing whatever you're doing at the grocery store, know that you are consistently branding yourself. So you need to be consistent in how you present yourself. And then the third C, is clarity. What do you do? What can you do for me? And then what does your audience think you do? If you have a convoluted message and a convoluted brand where people don't know whether you are a coffee company or a marketing agency, you got a problem on your hands. So make sure that when you are coming through a branding process, you are absolutely clear about what exactly you do and what you want your audience to get from you. And then real quick, as I stop sharing my screen, the last point that I want to hammer home is remember that building your brand, your personal brand, your business brand is holistic. There's not one thing that you do that is not contributing to your brand in some way. What you say, how you act, who you associate yourself with, the causes that you support, what you choose to put out there publicly on social media. Understand that Jamie Van Pelt is not Jamie Van Pelt in a vacuum. Jamie Van Pelt is Jamie Van Pelt with ESP Media. So everything you do impacts your business, the future of your business, the trajectory of what you want to accomplish professionally. And that brand is consistently and constantly building no matter what you're doing. So with that, I'll hand it over to the next presenter, and I look forward to the question and answers.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. That was great. Just as easy as ACC. I love that.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't think of a B word for the second.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. And next we'll go to Brian Wyatt with Be Easy Graphics. Hey, Brian.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Brian Wyatt Jr. I am the president and CEO of Be Easy Graphics, and I am also very thrilled to be here. Especially grateful to OEV for bringing me out here and bringing me here with some friends, because I happen to have known and have worked with all three of the gentlemen on here. So that just got me even more pumped. So I'm really excited to share a little bit more about who we are and what we do, as well as give you some branding jewels. So I'm also going to share my screen, and hopefully you can see it in presentation mode of what I got here, because I want to give you some insight on how to build a brand that people will love. And I've only got about 10 slides, so I'm going to go through it really quickly, but I'll be here. If you have questions, you can just reach out to me. My team should be in the comments. If you have questions, you can reach out to them and engage them as well, because they'll be standing by to support you. Let me know, same thing as Jamie, let me know if you see my presentation right now. You should see the cover slide right now. You see it? Can I get an audio yes or no? Not yet.
Looks like it's about to load.
Yeah.
All right. You just say all set when you see it, because I can't see it on my end.
I know that struggle.
Yeah. It doesn't look like it. Do you want to try again, Brian?
Yeah, I'll try again.
Okay. Oh, wait.
Oh, there we go.
How about now? Is it in presentation mode?
Not in presentation mode, but we see it.
It's in presentation mode on my end, so that's strange.
Okay.
May just be a little lag. I'd just give it a second.
Okay. Still no? Here, I'll do a new share. Maybe that'll help.
Okay.
How about now?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yep. Awesome.
Got it. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to build a brand that people will love. I'll tell you a bit more about who I am and what I do, so you can kind of get some of my receipts on where some of this experience and information came from. I was originally born and raised on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. It was there that I learned to use entrepreneurship to overcome adversity. I was the kid that was selling chips and candy in the classroom. You can just drop a comment if you ever knew someone like that. I was that guy. From there, I grew up, through those challenges, joined the Air Force, served for 5 years, got really familiar and comfortable with technology. And today, my wife and I parent a huge blended family of 10 children. That's pretty much what we're known for. And it's a lot like running a business, right? You have to keep your costs low and your income high. So obviously, I have a few brands that I work with and support, including my own Be Easy Graphics. We've also got Home Care Startups, which is one of my partners. I help train and consult with home care agencies. And so for the past 16 years, my team at Be Easy Graphics and I have been accelerating brands with scroll-stopping visual experiences, click-worthy website designs, and growth-driven marketing strategies as a full-service creative marketing and web design agency. So as I jump into branding and how we got to that point, and some of the things that we help our customers with, I want you to imagine something. Imagine this nameless, faceless feature with his hand out asking you for your hard-earned money, right? You worked hours, right? Put in all types of sweat and grind and blood and tears in order to make what you have. And you've got this person who you don't know who's asking you for your money, and you have no clue what he's offering, what you're getting for it. that's kind of like what branding is like when you're promoting and marketing your business to customers who don't know you, who can't relate to you. And so the whole purpose of branding is to put a face to this name, to build a connection with them so that you feel more comfortable and a little bit more invested in supporting them and giving them your hard-earned money. So I'm gonna show you some ways to do that. But first, you have to understand what branding is. A lot of people get branding confused with a lot of things. And like Jamie said, it's not just your logo. That's a part of it, but I'm gonna give you a really in-depth definition. Branding is a person's overall perception, understanding, impression, but most importantly, their gut feeling about a product, service, organization, idea, or experience. Now, keep in mind, this is a feeling, not what it looks like, not what you say it is. It's what people feel about your brand and what it means to them and what they need. The most important thing to understand about branding is that it's not what you think it is, it's what your customers say it is. So if people are saying things in the street, that's what your brand is. As much as you want it to be something different, if people are spreading other news, you're not in control of your brand and what you had envisioned at first, and you need to kind of rein it in and figure out how you can rebrand and rebuild the value with your target audiences. So to do that, you have to first understand and define your target audiences, because how are you going to serve a customer that you don't know? A lot of people get really scared when I say define your target audience, and because they're like, well, I want to promote to everyone. I don't want to limit how much money I can make. Well, if you're in it just for the money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. So I want to tell you a few reasons, if it is just for the money, why you don't want to do it. A lot of people use what we call the shotgun method. And I don't know if you're familiar with shotguns, but you'll get like a shell with 12 BBs. And once you pull that trigger that one time, all those BBs spread all over the place. And as you can see on this bullseye, they hit 10 times and missed 2. So imagine if that was $100 each. You just wasted $1,000 and only made $200. That's not a very good return on investment. Branding and defining your target audience helps make you a sharpshooter. So if you had 12 bullets inside the magazine, right, and you just start shooting, you can aim a little bit more tightly and accurately and get more closer to hitting that bullseye and getting those customers, and you can get a better return on your investment. So I hope this breaks down why you should define your target audience as the first tip. Secondly, you want to lead with empathy. You want to understand and put yourself in their shoes to understand what their needs are and what their goals are and what are some of the real life problems that they're experiencing. When you can do that, you can accurately assess their needs and use the right language in your promotions and your materials in order to give them what they're looking for so that they'll choose you over everyone else. You can also build deeper connections by increasing the lifetime value with your customers, because it feels more personal. If you're speaking their language, talking like them, using the same voice and tone, then they're going to feel more connected to you. And then also you create lasting value because they're going to refer you to their friends and family, and that builds what we call brand equity. And I'll break that down for you really quickly, right? Branding is important for a few reasons. One, it helps you build a stronger position and it has some economic value to it. Two, your brand should serve a higher purpose than making money. And then finally, it helps you build brand loyalty, which helps people prefer your brand over others. And when people prefer your brand over others, that means that they'll spend more with you than they do with other brands in similar industries and markets. So the whole idea of branding is to take everything of what your brand could be, that's the brand potential, narrow it down to a vision of what you want it to be. So if you're selling hair, for example, you could be a hair vendor and sell all types of hair. But if you want to sell only virgin hair, which is hair that hasn't been treated with any chemicals, then you can narrow that down there. If you want to sell virgin hair that is best for women with, who needs wigs, who have cancer, you can narrow down your brand vision that tight if you want. From there, you have to align that with the experience and what you promise to your customers. So if you promise, hey, we're going to give you the best quality brand, hair, in addition to that, is going to make you look and feel as confident as you are. If you say that, but then the customers feel something different when they get it, oh man, this is tearing apart, it's falling apart, it's dirty. That experience and the promise doesn't line up. And as a result, your branding is off and you're starting to lose control of your brand again. So the whole point of branding, again, is to build that brand equity by bringing what you promise and what people actually experience together. And that's what we do at Be Easy Graphics. And there's several ways that you can do that. And there are several gentlemen on this webinar that can tell you a little bit more about it. But like Jamie said, everything that you do, everything that's connected to you is your brand. From the design of your products, the colors make people feel emotions, what you put online, what you say online on social media, the PR, the advertising, even the sales and service, what people experience when they're talking to your sales rep or customer service, that affects your brand. But most importantly, you have to continue to build those relationships and not make it transactional. And that's something that we're really good at helping people with. And you can see some of our work. I can drop the link to our portfolio in the comments. But if you need some help from us, you can book a strategy session. You can book me for coaching and branding. And we also have some brand kits available where you can go and choose and build your brand your own way. We can give you the power with the resources and tools and templates, and you can do it yourself, or you can reach out to me, Jamie, or anyone on here to help you with building those brand touch points. And that's pretty much all I have for today. I hope that's helpful. If that's helpful, just drop a note in the comments. Let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. That was great. I love the sharpshooter analogy too. That was great. So thank you so much for joining us and for that amazing presentation. I see the BZ Graphics team is definitely in the comments to represent. So that's awesome. Well, next we will go to Vaughn Wilson with Mega Ace Media. Hey, Vaughn.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Hey, good.
Yeah, I really like that sharpshooter analogy that Brian used as well. That's a true fact. And the good thing about this group is, yes, we have all worked together. And as I go through my PowerPoints quickly, one thing for sure, when you have 4 people who are actually in the business, some of our things are going to be repetitive when we're not using a unified script. So some of the things we say, you will see over and over. You definitely need to take note in those things. And so are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. 3 keys to marketing for small business. What problem does your business solve? For example, if it's hunger, if you're a restaurant, if you're an accountant, you're solving tax issues. If you're a beautician or a barber, you're solving appearance issues. How is your business different? 3 keys to marketing. This is number 2. What makes clients see you as a better option than just selecting a mega corporation from the yellow pages now? I guess there are no more yellow pages. We got Google, Siri, Alexa, and all of those. And just like was stated earlier, do not answer price. If your whole reason you think people should hire you over another corporation is price, then you may be devaluing your business unintentionally. Third, how do you want to appear to clients? Is there a look you want to portray? Is there a theme that you want to follow? What is your brand? Branding for small businesses. There are multiple businesses in the world who can do exactly what you do. Why should a client choose your business, service, or product over another? This is the point in which your brand dictates the entire image of your company. This is the age of visual branding. Here are the top 6 elements of branding. How does your business look online? We cannot stress how important people don't call until they've done their research, and they can easily do that online. What have clients said about your business? This is very important. This is your reputation, and this goes back to what you've done in the past and how your clients view you, their satisfaction levels. Where are potential clients able to see and hear your promotions? How are you promoting? Is it online? Do they see your card somewhere? Do they hear it on the radio? Do they see it on television? Make it easy to be chosen. How professional does your business appear to clients? This is very important that I tell small businesses. Just because you're a small business does not mean that you have to look like a small business. I would say at every end, emulate whatever a larger corporation would do and present that in your framework of the business that you do. And what makes your company memorable for potential clients? What makes your company memorable for potential clients? Align with organizations that can assist you. This is very important. I guess everyone on here is probably nodding because we are all associated with organizations that assist us in different ways. That can include the local chamber of commerce, niche chamber of commerces, align with local, state, and national registers for your business, and registers with agencies that assist small businesses, as in OEV and MWSBE. Be able to deliver for your clients. This is a very important piece. So many small businesses concentrate on getting clients, but this is how you keep clients and get those clients to refer you to other business. Word of mouth advertising is virtually infallible. Deliver your product on time at all costs. Once again, deliver your products on time at all costs. Communicate with clients during the process. Over deliver, over deliver, over deliver. If there's an extra value you can add without cost or minimal cost, do so. And align with others in your industry that may not necessarily be competition. Here we are, 4 businesses online. We do some similar things, but we also partner because we don't see each other as direct competition. Branding cheat sheet. Determine your target audience. Position your product and business. Define your company's personality and choose a logo and slogan. Once again, your logo is not everything. And before I read this next slide, and I'll be done really short here, right before the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to try to expand my business outlook. So who do I go see? Peter Diamandis. He's the Elon Musk's partner. And he had a conference at Florida State, and he was so good, and I learned so much that I ordered this book right in the middle of his speech. And one of the things, not going all the way through this slide, is the major thing that I took away from his speech is that in business, you have to be able to shift your focus. The big example he used was Blockbuster Video was on top of the world, but it didn't see Redbox or Netflix coming. Also, Apple started out selling computers, but now they sell more cell phones than they do computers. Amazon started out selling books. Now they sell everything. So in my experience, I'll play a little video, and there may not be audio at the very beginning, but video comes on as far as how I changed my business. Before the pandemic, my business was photography, videography, graphics, creating videos for people. But the pandemic reshaped my business model as I began to help stream events that were once live, virtually stream them on to different platforms. And one of the greatest things I had the ability to do was George Clinton, who was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and who just got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Actually, it's not even down yet. They just announced it. He lives here in Tallahassee. And being an elderly gentleman, he did not want to travel. But he had to be on Anderson Cooper. So I brought the production studio to him, and I'll show you a little piece of that video.
For to be cast in. So I don't even want to go out. I don't even go out the house for the most part, though. We got to be safe. That's all I'm saying. We got to be safe.
And so by switching directions with our business, we were able to satisfy that customer, get him what he needed to be able to stay safe and in his home. That was what the requirement was for that product. You have to be able to shift your business to what your clients need. And thank you as I pass the mic.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Fawn. And you brought up some really great points there, especially with your business being or your brand being the image of your business. I think that's so awesome, and love that little clip at the end as well too. But we do have a couple questions in the audience. So before we head over to you, Michael, I would love to answer this and bring this to the panel. I see that a few of our panelists have already answered in the comments, but definitely would love to open it for discussion. But we do have a question from E. Marie. And what is the best way to get client feedback to improve your branding? So I guess, Brian, do you want to start since you kind of took that question first in the comments?
Yes. So first of all, I want to say that it's a very good question. It's a very important question too, and relevant to what we're talking about, especially to the point of what I mentioned earlier, that your brand is what your customers say it is. And so client feedback is the way to find out if you're delivering on what you promised or not. And so capturing that information should be a part of your process. Let me say that first. It should be a part of your process from the moment you design it. So if you have a 5-step process to delivering your product or service, that 6th step should be to send an email or message asking for their feedback. The most basic way that I can suggest doing that is to just give them a call and ask them if they can email you a review or testimonial. And the reason why I suggest doing it that way is just in case they have some negative feedback, you probably wouldn't want that to be public just yet. So you would want to have the first opportunity to adjust it or address it and make the adjustments that you need in order to help improve that experience for them. And once you do that, they may write a second review that'll be better, that you might want to say, oh man, thank you for this. Would you mind sharing it on Facebook and Google so the world can see? And if they agree to do that, reward them, give them a free gift, buy them a gift card or something, make them feel special about their experience, so that they are more willing to share your brand and their experience with other people face to face through referrals. And so that will be one of the first things that I would recommend as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. And even just to follow up on your point, like a follow-up email as well too. I know I just had someone send me an email, like a follow-up email, and like at the bottom it was like, hey, if you enjoyed our experience, like give us a review on Facebook or Google or whatever the case may be. But I think really the key is just the timeliness of it as well. Like you were saying, right after you deliver that service or that product, then, kind of either give them a call or send them an email, which is great. Because I don't know about you all, like I look at reviews all the time before, I definitely try and do my research and, try not to be too harsh, but I definitely want to see what people's comments are. So definitely a great way to kind of build your brand. I see, Jamie, too, that you also answered that question. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, first, I think Brian nailed it. But the only thing that I would add to that is think about what you're going to use that feedback for. Think about why you're seeking feedback. I think obviously, your product or service, getting a review on that is incredibly important. But also trying to figure out what's working for you. We talked a lot about how your audience sees you, how your clientele sees you. It's pretty easy to take a 3, 4, 5 question survey and ask questions that are as simple as, hey, how'd you hear about us? Would you recommend us to a friend? What did you think that we did? That sort of thing. And then the satisfaction piece is also really important. But I think that helps you understand how effectively you are branding yourself, how effectively you're marketing yourself. And if you're buying ads, on X television station, but over and over again, you're seeing, oh, well, I saw you on Facebook or I saw you on, LinkedIn, heard you on the radio. Maybe the television stuff isn't hitting as much to the target audience that you're really wanting. So those things are invaluable pieces of information, and they're usually pretty easy to get. And then the other thing is, I think to Brian's point, stay in touch with everybody at all times. There's no such thing as a former client. Everybody is a potential future client. So make sure that whenever you are engaging with folks, as soon as you present the product or service and they transact you for it, that is not the end of the relationship. I would articulate that's probably the very beginning of the relationship. And I think it's really important to keep an eye on the fact that these people and these folks, these entities who are doing business with you are gateways to a lot more business. And you just got to do a little bit of the legwork to maintain that relationship.
Great point. Brian, did you have anything to add? Oh, go ahead, Michael.
No, I was just agreeing, totally making sure that that's part of your process, as Brian said, and being deliberate and also using that data to be able to improve and expand your business as well. So you want to be helpful to your client as well as being able to provide all the services that you can see that they need as well as project that they will need in the future. And that type of comments and analytics will also help you to grow your business as well.
Awesome point. And Brian, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I definitely I wish we could send gold stars, because I would send some to Jamie, because he emphasized the importance of building and maintaining that relationship after the transaction. I don't think that can be understated. One of the things that I would also like to add, and it's just kind of a personal story, a professional story from an experience that we had. I have been really intentional about this, and that's one of the reasons why we're hosting like a customer service webinars, because I really want to nail this. In one of our most recent projects, I asked the client in the middle of the project about their experience and how we can be better. And it wasn't that they were having a bad experience. It was just that they were working with someone new on our team. And I just wanted to make sure that we were on point. And they gave us some feedback. We weren't doing anything wrong, but because we were developing an advanced website, there was long time periods between check-ins where we were doing development stuff. And so it, sometimes when a long period of time goes by, there's a little bit of nervousness and anxiety, like, hey, what's happening behind the scenes? And so we built into our process weekly check-ins and sprints that helped us improve our process while working the project. And so I just wanted to build on what you had said, Kiana, about the timing, that sometimes it's good to ask and the process, but also definitely at the end as well.
Yeah, great point. And I just want to also call out a comment before we go over to you, Michael, but it's from Pat, and they say, don't be afraid of negative feedback, because the customer with a problem that you make right for them becomes a loyal customer. They know you have integrity, which is awesome. And definitely a point well made. So Michael, we'll go over to you from McCork Solutions. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and thanks again for the invite. And again, as everyone else has said, it's truly an honor to be on a panel with people that I've worked with as well as admired their work. I'm gonna move real quickly because, as Vaughn said, a lot of the statements have already been, have been said. And so let me go into my presentation mode here. And you guys will let me know if you see my screen.
Will do.
For some reason, it's looking like it's frozen. So when I go into, do you see my screen?
Yep, we do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All righty. Okay. And once again, my name is Michael Cork. I'm the CEO of McCork Solutions. We're a branding and marketing company. Been in existence since 2004, and I've worked with a variety of clients. I want to move a little different than everyone. I'll show a quick. Well, I'm going to skip the video and just kind of move along into. Well, maybe not. Maybe we will play the video. And that video kind of capsulized some of most of the service offerings that we do. A quick brief bio. We're an award-winning, we call it a relevant solutions marketing company. So basically we try to come up with solutions in marketing that's relevant to the time, the era, and to our niche audience. I want to kind of get into a discussion that kind of expands what the brand is and how brand is utilized to actually bridge and expand business. Many times we deal with clients who will have somewhat established the brand, but they may be stagnated and they're trying to grow their business. And so we want to always try to bridge the gap from what they've done to actually what they're trying to do. And so again, as has been mentioned by many other panelists, what is a brand? We always start out with what a brand is not. Of course, hold on, let me get my slides together. This is moving kind of fast. Okay, so brand is not your logo, it's not your website, it's not your product. Some of the things everyone says, it's not even your services, it's not your colors. What exactly is a brand? A brand is you. It's the total summation of who you are, who your company is. It's to make it brief. What are people saying? And many times we can even go back to even biblical times, and this is a passage in the Bible that I think is very relevant to the brand. And to summarize it, Jesus was with his disciples, and he asked the disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And they gave off different names and answers, which was somewhat different than what he would have wanted them to say. And so basically what he was saying is, what's my brand out there? What are people saying about me? And so he asked them, he said, what are you guys saying about me? You who are my brand ambassadors? What are you guys saying about me, who I am? And so he was interested even in what a brand is. So when we look at some brands that we know, we look at Apple, and Rolex. What are their actual brands? It's not MacBooks. It's not iPhones. Apple's brand is imagination, creativity, innovation. When we think of Rolex, we think of luxury, success, status, maturity. So when you think about your brand, you have to actually think of what is the personality of your actual company, just as many of the other expert panelists have mentioned. When I think of McCoy Solution, our brand is more elevation of creation and innovation. So we try to stay creative in what we do. I'll skip that. One of the things that we try to accomplish in our brand is also being known for results. So, what is actually being accomplished from your company? Von Whistle mentioned what's the problem being solved. So analytics and data to prove whether or not the brand and whether or not the company is effective is important. This is an example of some album work that we did. We worked with a lady who had been a gospel artist for several years, a legend, but she had never charted on Billboard. We got with her, worked with her image, worked with her design art as well, and she debuted #1 on Billboard. We worked with the Florida Classic, came into Florida Classic and did a lot of the brand identity work for the upcoming games, and you see some of the results with increase in attendance. So when I get to that, I'm starting to talk about what is a bridge. So when I say I want to provide a bridge, my brand to provide a bridge, what is a bridge? A structure spanning and providing passage over a gap or barrier, such as a river or a roadway. So what does that mean? What are we talking about? The ability to advance a situation, status, and position when a normal mode of operation has exhausted its capability of results. So when you get to the point where you're running a business and your brand has seemingly reached a plateau, what do you do? So I'm running through this real quick, but we've narrowed it down to 3 different bridges in business. We have relationships and partnerships, improvements in products, and additional products and skills. What is relationship partnership? People make decisions. Just as the question was asked about getting feedback and getting comments, you want to make sure that your reputation of your brand stays integral and it stays to be known as a problem solver. It is important to be liked. Protect the integrity of your brand and reputation. Your reach can determine your success. Depending on how many people you know and who knows you, that can determine the output of your brand. The other bridge is improved products and services. Is your product and service effective? Is it efficient? We always want to be trying to improve those things. Can we improve what we are doing? So taking a real look at your brand and making a true assessment as to what you're doing and looking at the results and say, is there room for improvement? We should always be doing that. And must deliberately make time to evaluate current situation and strategize ways to make improvement. So it has to be a deliberate act to try to improve your brand. A lot of times, as Vaughn said, taking the Blockbuster analogy, they were successful, seemingly had the market cornered, but did they take time to deliberately strategize for improvement and understanding the trends of the actual industry? The only things that are not changing are dead things. So again, just to add to that, additional products and services is another bridge. Sometimes there are things that we just need to add. What we did in our company, we started out mainly web and graphic design, and then we eventually migrated into video as well as photography. What are the complementary services that add to your offering? That was our case. We were actually hiring photographers and hiring videographers. And so we ended up implementing it into our business and services just to improve the brand and expand the brand of our offerings. What are the expansion trends in the industry? A lot of times in certain industries, you start seeing different things being provided. Von Wilson made a great point about how he pivoted and started adding streaming services to his media marketing offerings, and that was very relevant to the times of the pandemic. And being astute and paying attention to the trends and understanding that, he immediately shifted, and it it kept his revenues to stay consistent and probably even expanded. Just a couple examples of some work we've done. We work with Hungry Jack, expanding their brand. They wanted to offer some different types of packaging for their foods, and we were able to get with them and work. In this case, we worked with a lot of food photographers and created a lot of brand collateral for them. And I'll just run through work with Steak and Shake as well. FAMU was one of our clients. We recently worked with the newly elected judge, Tiffany Baker, with her brand and marketing, as well as the overall identity. Upcoming soon, because we've worked with a lot of companies and done this thing and done this, we are actually going to publish a book that will be available by the end of the summer, Keys to Upward Brand, and it'll basically be a guideline and checklist for your for developing a brand. So be on the lookout for that. Here's my contact information that you can reach me at. I'm on all social media platforms, and once again, thank everybody for their time.
Thank you, Michael. That was great. Awesome. Well, we do have another question too from YouTube, and just going to open it up to the panel. But what are your recommendations for a startup business in building their brand and promoting their services? So just a brand new business, just trying to figure it out. And if it's okay, Michael, since you just presented, I want to go ahead and start off with you.
What are your recommendations for a start? Okay, so are they asking what type of business, or are they talking about they have a business already started up and how to brand it?
Yep, seems like they have a business and just trying to figure out how to brand it.
Definitely, I think they should be intentional of understanding what type of problems they're actually solving, and then once they come up with that, developing their niche market as well as their target market. Some of the things that Brian as well as Vaughn and Jamie have said, and those will give you a pinpoint target as to who you need to, who's your audience and who your services are for, and finding out those avenues and those resources that can actually reach those people. I think one of the biggest issues that a lot of small businesses have is being able to capitalize or reach the people that they're actually that are actually interested in the services they provide.
Awesome. Does anyone else have anything to add to that answer?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So I think first of all, it's a great question, and I think, and the follow up to it, are there any simple things to avoid when building your brand as a startup? So I'll tackle that one first. Don't try to be everything to everybody. It's easy when you're starting out in business to say yes to every single thing, but as I think Brian eloquently stated earlier, make sure that you're doing a great job at what you do. Because the quickest thing that's going to turn folks off is poor performance. And if you're saying yes and yes and yes and yes, knowing full well you don't really know how to do that, then it leads to some issues on the back end. But just to the first question, I think what you really have to focus on is utilizing the resources that are at your disposal right now. Right? When we talk about marketing, we talk about advertising, we talk about all these things. Admittedly, some of it takes some resources, some capital. But what doesn't take capital is calling your friends, pounding the pavement, sending DMs on social media to people that you know to help grow echo chambers, right? So you want people who are bought into what you're doing, family members, close friends, relatives, whatever, to help you expand what you're doing to their networks. Every single person has got their own distinct network that you need to help tap into. So it's very simple if you're willing to put the work in to say, hey, today I'm going to go through 100 people that I know who are friends with me, who want to see me succeed, and I'm going to ask them to share X, or I'm going to ask them to send this form email, or I'm going to ask them to do this. So it's pounding the pavement, right? It's knock and drag in campaign terms. It's going out there and forcing the issue, and not just waiting until you can afford to produce and buy a television commercial.
I'd like to add to that as well. Two things for startup businesses. First off, when you see a check or cash come in hand, don't assume that is all profit. Right. When this pandemic hit, in order to change my business structure, I had to make a significant investment from what I had before. So some things that were coming in were going right back out so that I can continue to improve myself, to stabilize, to get to the point where I was able to perform the functions that I am at the highest level and continue to study trends. So that's first off. Don't just take every dollar that comes in and see it as profit, because you must reinvest back in your business. That's number one. And number two, back to the direct recommendations from other people. You want to do such a good job that people recommend you to other people. I am on about the 4th level of recommendations for my streams now. It started with OEV. OEV recommended me. OEV had me to do the MWSBE. And then something happened at a CRA meeting, and OEV says, hey, we know somebody who can solve your problem. And then the Florida Department of Transportation needed that service. Now CRA says, hey, we know somebody who can solve your problem. By doing the first level of those events correctly, I'm now on the 4th level of those recommendations. That's what you want to do as a business. You want to do a job that well where people feel confident in recommending you for business.
Right.
Absolutely.
Great point,
Absolutely.
yeah. Thank you, Vaughn. And we do have another question too from Marie. And I see that you kind of answered it, Brian, so I don't know if you wanted to expound on the panel, but should we provide various ways to ask for feedback, like surveys, calls, texts, etc.? Do you want to go ahead and get started with that, Brian?
Yeah, so my response to that would be, or suggestion would be, to keep it simple if you're just starting out. To simplify your process, because the more time consuming and complex you make that feedback process, the more likely the customer or client is not going to complete it. Because I mean, they live pretty busy in lives like the rest of us. You know, they've got family, kids, work, school, business, if they're an entrepreneur. So the more you can simplify that process, the better. Once they take that first step, just guide them to the next step. Like if they do the email one, guide them to the next step. And hey, can you do this also on Facebook? And then include the link to your Facebook review section. So all you have to do is click it, copy and paste. So just simplify it as much as possible for them. And going that extra mile would mean something to them as well.
Awesome. Anyone else have anything to add to that?
I would add to that also. You want to always provide services that you can manage. So even if it's a survey or a comment, you want to be able to keep it in a way that you can manage it and make it as effective for you as well. Because sometimes if you have different platforms for comments and suggestions, if you're not able to check those different platforms, that'll come off just as bad as a negative comment in itself. So you want to always keep things in a position and only expand as you're able to handle expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also add, do what you're doing now. You're on here trying to learn from some other people. I learned so much from Peter Diamandis that day. It was just, my mind is still blown. For example, I put it in the slideshow, which if you need it emailed, we'll email it to you. In my slideshow, when I was using examples of businesses that did not evolve, Kodak for years and years made chemicals, film to print photos. But at some point, I think it was 1985, Kodak developed actually the first digital camera. One of the engineers from Kodak developed the first digital camera. The leadership of Kodak said, throw that away. We'll never use that. We're in the business of selling memories, of selling ink, paper, and solutions to print photos. Now, today, after going through a bankruptcy, Kodak never got it. They never got it, from the juggernaut in one industry to not being able to accept change and migrate into looking forward. So always look forward in your business. What are the changes? And don't say what you wouldn't do. I'm going to share this with you. When one of the first groups that called me for streaming services when the pandemic hit was funeral homes. Yeah, I said the same thing. I really don't know if I want to do. About the third call, I said, okay, let me at least do one of these and see. I ended up doing 3, 4, 5 funerals a week once I got the system down, because I didn't think about the fact that during the pandemic, they were keeping funerals to 45 minutes. A lot of them were on site, so I had to have remote, wireless, all these kind of things taken into account. But those are the things that floated my business then that are add-ons now. Now that, you know, we're virtually back open, those are add-ons that we do without thinking about it because we adapted to it.
Awesome point.
Yeah, that's an amazing adjustment there. And it makes sense when I think about it. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a good vertical for you, Vaughn.
That in churches too. I know you were getting a lot of calls from churches. So,
no,
yeah.
Listen, I would say Strong and Jones Funeral Home had me on speed dial. It was really, you know, even to the point where I streamed in Lakeland. I went to Lakeland, Florida to stream the late Ken Riley, who was a great NFL player. His was in a big arena, you know. So the business expands. Don't say what your business won't do. If you're in business, let the need tell you which direction to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great point. Awesome. I see we have another question too from Nicole Everett. Hey, Nicole. She asks, who do you recommend a small business look to assist them with strategic planning for marketing and branding? And let me tell you, Nicole, I think we have a group of panelists that can assist you with that. I can definitely take that question myself. You have Jamie, Michael, Vaughn, right? So definitely look to them. So happy to have them too on our panel. I think this is also a great time as we're kind of wrapping up to kind of share our contact information for folks like Nicole, who's looking for someone to assist their small business. So I'll start with Brian.
Yeah, so you can contact us and find us on social media at Be Easy Graphics. You can also Google Be Easy Graphics Tallahassee, and you'll see a lot of our contact links. And my team should be dropping some links in the comments as well.
They definitely are.
And I definitely want to share something that will help you all with some additional assistance. And I think it would answer like the last couple of questions that we got. We recently written a blog called Sell the Experience, Not the Product. And I think that kind of brings home everything that all of us have been talking about, is that what Michael brought up, Apple, Rolex, they're not just selling just the devices, they're selling luxury, that whole experience of what it makes you feel like to have those things. And so that's what this blog talks about. And I think that if you start there, it'll generate some ideas on how to create a brand that people will connect with. Because if you make it only about the product, if the product breaks and things like that, then you're liable for that affecting your brand. But if you make it about the experience, it'll be even better. But yeah, check out that blog post. And at the bottom of that post, you'll see a way to contact us as well. Our website address is beeasygraphics.com, beeasygraphics.com. And then our phone number, I'll drop that as well, is 850-631-9979.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. I see your team dropped the blog in the comments too, so I'm going to definitely have to check that out after the webinar. Jamie?
Yeah, thank you very much to OEV, first of all, for hosting this, and Nicole directly. I know I've addressed your question, but I'll say it again here for folks listening. I can personally stand behind any of these gentlemen that are on this panel with me for anybody's needs who could potentially be watching this. I've worked with all of them directly. I continue to work with all of them directly, and they are fantastic. And I'll put my business reputation on their work. So you can't go wrong. The only thing I'll say is find somebody you're comfortable with. I think don't worry about hurting your friends' feelings or whatever. You're the one that has to live with the decision. So make sure that you're going with whoever you're comfortable with, and that sets you up for success. But yeah, you can. I dropped our. There he is. The Honorable Daryl Jones.
Hey, Daryl.
Can I just tell y'all that I think this has been the best webinar we've had, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This has been, oh my, just look at the engagement that we're enjoying. And here we have these subject matter experts here. Thank you for sharing your enormous talent and wealth of experiences with our people. We're also grateful for the way that you choose to engage with our office through the Minority Women in Small Business Program by availing yourselves as both primes and subcontractors in our work. Y'all have really shown what that type of utilization looks like. You've optimized your certification, and I appreciate how you're sharing your experiences, that it might be a benefit and an encouragement to other certified MWSBEs across all industries. So thank you for sharing with us. Isn't Kiana the best?
Yes.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And real
And we're
quick,
both vaccinated too,
And
so
we're
don't
both,
be.
oh yeah, we're vaccinated.
just a quick plug for OEV. If you're listening or you watch this recording and you're not a certified women or minority in business, please consider doing that. We get a lot of our business and work and subcontractors from that list. So it's incredibly important. It's a great resource. As Vaughn said, look out for chambers of commerce. They're great places to go. Big Bend Minority Chamber of Commerce, Capital City Chamber, and obviously the Greater Tallahassee Chamber. But just for us, you can find us on social, ESP_media and ESP media_ on Twitter and IG. And then obviously on Facebook, and visit our website. If we can help you, let us know, or we can provide a recommendation, because I promise you I will be recommending a lot of folks like the ones on this panel. Thank you all very much, and good luck with everything.
Might I also add that all 4 of these vendors have been utilized by the Office of Economic Vitality in a variety of different responses, to include our MedWeek activities, our engagement, our special events. They have all been a part of our branding. Brian, Michael, Vaughn manages our activities, our MWSBE and our Citizen Advisory Committee meetings and EVLC. ESP Media has been a partner with us also for a number of years and a number of projects. So we want everyone to know that we believe in supporting our certified firm. So that type of cooperation starts first with our own certified firms, even for the Office of Economic Vitality. Thank you, guys. I'm going to turn it back over to Kiana.
Well, like Daryl was saying, like Jamie was saying, we will highly recommend any 4 of our panelists. So, like I said, we use you all the time. So, Michael, if you want to share your contact information.
Yeah, I've shared some of it on the comments, and just to echo everyone, working with these guys has always been great. We recommend, Vaughn and I, we recommend services to each other all the time. He utilizes my studio. Anytime someone calls me for any type of streaming, first thing I say is Vaughn Wilson, knowing that, I know it's going to be done right. Jamie and I have worked together, and Brian and I have collaborated on many thoughts, and I look forward to working with him even more. We can be reached on Instagram at McCork Solutions or at McCork. Our website is www.mccorksolutions.com. We're on Facebook as well. So any social media, you can reach out to us, and we look forward to hearing from any of you guys with any service needs that you have that we can provide or we can recommend, and we would definitely try to make sure we get you in the right hands. Thanks again to OEV for everything you've done, for allowing me to be on this platform, as well as the many other jobs you guys have recommended us for, as well as working with you guys, and look forward to future endeavors as well. Thanks to Daryl as well as Kiana.
Thank you. No, thank you, Michael. Vaughn?
I can be reached at megaace.com. That's 2 A's. For some reason, I can't type in the chat, so I'm tired of trying. But
we got you. We got
but
you.
I'm on the OEV registry somewhere in there. And speaking, I walk it as well as talk it. I tell you, I said in my slides that you need to align with businesses that can help you, like OEV. The very first check I got in the pandemic was from OEV. It was a small award ceremony, but I had nothing going. And that actually helped me to realize the change in focus I needed to have for my business, but because of what it took to provide that service. So I want to thank OEV for putting their money where their mouth is, and helping small businesses, not only with recommendations, not only with forums, but actually engaging our businesses for actual activities.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us. This has been, like Daryl said, so great, and so happy to have 4 experts, 4 certified MWSBE firms with us today. And thank you all for joining us for this amazing webinar. We look forward to joining you or seeing you again for our next webinar in a few weeks. Bye.
Thanks.
Right.